Part 1. The Eternal Question. Exploring the origin of existence. For as long as humans have looked up at the stars, we have asked the ultimate question: where did everything come from? The vast expanse of the universe, stretching beyond our comprehension, holds countless mysteries. Galaxies swirling in an endless cosmic dance, stars igniting from collapsing clouds of gas, and planets forming in the quiet darkness of space, each process governed by precise laws of physics. But how did these laws come to be? For many, the answer lies in a divine creator, a force beyond time and space, shaping reality itself. But if we assume that God created the universe, it leads us to another profound question: who created God? It is a question that has perplexed humanity for millennia, debated by philosophers, theologians, and scientists alike. Can something exist without a beginning? Could there be an ultimate first cause, or does existence stretch back infinitely? To answer this, we must journey through the corridors of time, exploring the greatest minds in history and their attempts to unravel the mystery of existence. The search for a first cause, one of the earliest attempts to answer this question, comes from the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle. He proposed the idea of the unmoved mover, a being that set everything in motion but was itself beyond time, beyond change, and beyond the need for creation. This concept became influential in later religious thought, particularly in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, where God is often described as eternal and uncaused. The idea is simple: everything we see has a cause. A tree grows from a seed, a river carves its path from melting glaciers. Even the sun burns because of nuclear fusion ignited billions of years ago. But if we follow this chain of causes back far enough, does it ever stop, or does it go back forever? If everything must have a cause, then wouldn't God also need one? Or is God the exception, the one being that has always existed? Infinite regression versus the first cause. Imagine a row of dominoes stretching infinitely into the past. If each domino falls because the one before it tipped it over, then how did the first one fall? If there was no first domino, the whole sequence could never have started. This is the problem of infinite regression, a chain of causes that stretches endlessly backward without an ultimate beginning. Many philosophers argue that infinite regression is impossible. There must have been a first cause, an original force that set everything into motion. In religious thought, this first cause is often called God. In scientific theories, it takes other forms such as the Big Bang, a quantum fluctuation, or something even more mysterious. But what if there was no beginning? Some physicists suggest that time itself is an illusion, a construct of the human mind. If time is not fundamental, then asking what came before the universe might be meaningless. The concept of a timeless creator. Religions around the world describe God as eternal, existing outside of time and space, beyond the limits of human understanding. If this is true, then God does not need a cause because causality itself is a property of the universe, not something that applies to God. Imagine a painter creating a painting. The painting exists within its own space, with its own rules and structure, but the painter exists outside of the painting's reality. In the same way, many theologians argue that God exists outside of the universe and is not bound by its rules. This view is echoed in many religious texts. In Christianity, God is described as the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. In Hinduism, Brahman is the eternal, unchanging reality behind all existence. In Islam, God is Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir, the first and the last, existing beyond time. If God is outside time, then the question "who created God?" might be meaningless, like asking, "What's north of the North Pole?" The very concept of a beginning only applies within time, and if God is outside of time, then God has no beginning. But is this explanation satisfying? Or is it simply avoiding the question? Scientific perspectives on the universe's origin, while religious and philosophical ideas provide one perspective, science offers another. For centuries, scientists believed that the universe was eternal, without a beginning or end. However, In the 20th century, discoveries in physics changed everything. The expansion of the universe, first observed by Edwin Hubble, led to the formulation of the Big Bang theory. This theory suggests that the universe had a beginning, a moment of unimaginable density and energy that gave rise to everything we see today. If the universe had a beginning, what caused it? Scientists propose several possibilities. Quantum fluctuations. Some physicists suggest that the universe could have emerged from a vacuum through quantum mechanics. In quantum physics, particles can appear and disappear spontaneously without an apparent cause. Could the universe itself have arisen in a similar way? The multiverse theory. Another possibility is that our universe is just one of many, born from a vast multiverse. If universes are constantly being created and destroyed, then perhaps our universe is simply part of an eternal cycle. The cyclic universe. Some theories suggest that the universe undergoes infinite cycles of expansion and contraction, meaning there was no single beginning, only an eternal process. But even these explanations raise further questions. If quantum fluctuations created the universe, where did the quantum laws come from? If a multiverse exists, what created it? Science and philosophy both seem to arrive at the same paradox: either there was a first cause, or existence has no ultimate beginning. Where does that leave us? The question of who created God is one of the deepest mysteries of existence. Some argue that God has no creator because God is eternal. Others suggest that the universe itself is eternal, removing the need for a creator. And still, some believe that the ultimate answer lies beyond human comprehension. In the next section, we will explore more perspectives on this age-old question, delving deeper into the nature of time, space, and consciousness itself. So what do you think? Does everything need a cause? Or is there something that has always existed? As we continue our journey, we will uncover more theories, challenge our understanding of reality, and explore the depths of existence itself. Part 2. The nature of time and the illusion of beginnings. Time, the invisible force that dictates the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth and death of stars, and the unfolding of the universe itself. We measure time in hours, days, and years, yet we rarely stop to question what it truly is. If we are asking whether God needed a creator, we must first ask a deeper question: does time itself have a beginning, or is it an illusion? Many of our biggest questions about existence hinge on the concept of time. If time is infinite, then perhaps the universe, or something beyond it, has always existed, with no need for a beginning. But if time had a starting point, then we are left wondering what, if anything, came before it. Could it be that our perception of time itself is flawed? The human experience of time, to us, time appears to flow in one direction. We remember the past, experience the present, and anticipate the future. This is known as the arrow of time, a concept rooted in the laws of thermodynamics. In particular, the second law of thermodynamics states that entropy, disorder, always increases over time. This is why a glass can shatter into pieces, but those pieces never spontaneously come back together. It's why we age, why stars burn their fuel, and why the universe itself seems to be moving toward an ever more disordered state. But does this mean time itself has a beginning? Not necessarily. Scientists have debated whether time is fundamental, a real physical property of the universe, or whether it is simply a construct of human perception. Albert Einstein's theory of relativity revealed that time is not fixed but rather bends and stretches depending on gravity and motion. In the presence of a massive object, time slows down, a phenomenon confirmed by experiments with atomic clocks placed on airplanes. This suggests that time is not an absolute entity, but something woven into the fabric of space itself. If time is flexible and intertwined with space, then asking what happened before time began might be as nonsensical as asking what's north of the North Pole. Did time begin with the Big Bang? Modern cosmology suggests that the universe began 13.8 billion years ago with an event known as the Big Bang, an explosion of space-time itself from a singular point of infinite density. This idea is based on the discovery that the universe is expanding, as seen in the redshift of distant galaxies. If we rewind this expansion, everything converges to a singular point. But was this truly the beginning of time? The standard Big Bang model suggests that time itself came into existence at that moment. Before the Big Bang, there was no before. But some physicists argue that this conclusion is based on the limits of our current understanding. The laws of physics break down at the singularity, meaning we cannot know for certain what happened before the Big Bang, or if there even was a before. Several alternative theories challenge the idea that time had a beginning. The eternal universe hypothesis: some scientists propose that the universe has no beginning or end but has always existed in one form or another. This aligns with certain religious and philosophical views that posit existence as eternal. The cyclic universe theory, ancient Hindu philosophy, described the universe as undergoing infinite cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. Modern physics has a similar concept, the idea that the universe expands, then contracts, then expands again, forever repeating. In this model, the Big Bang was not the beginning, but simply one phase in an endless cycle. The multiverse and quantum fluctuations: if our universe emerged from a quantum fluctuation, where energy randomly gives rise to a universe, then perhaps our cosmos is just one of an infinite number, each existing in a vast eternal multiverse. If new universes are constantly being created, then time may be infinite, stretching beyond what we can observe. Hawking's no-boundary proposal: Stephen Hawking and James Hartle proposed that asking what came before the Big Bang is like asking what is south of the South Pole. In their model, time is curved in a way that it never had a distinct beginning, but gradually transitioned into what we perceive as time today. Each of these theories challenges the idea that time had a starting point, suggesting that existence itself might be eternal. If that is true, then perhaps the question "who created God?" is unnecessary, because existence never needed to be created in the first place. Does God exist outside of time? Religious traditions often describe God as timeless, existing outside of space and time entirely. If this is true, then God would not need a creator, because causality, the idea that every effect has a cause, only applies within time. Imagine an author writing a book. The characters in the story experience time as a sequence of events, one page following another. But to the author, time does not exist in the same way. They can jump back and forth between pages, knowing how the story begins and ends simultaneously. If God exists outside of time, then asking who created God may be as meaningless as a character in a book asking who created the author. Many theological traditions support this view. In Christianity, God is described as the Alpha and Omega, without beginning or end. In Islam, God is called Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir, the first and the last. In Hinduism, Brahman is the eternal, unchanging reality behind all things. These perspectives argue that if God is truly outside of time, then he does not require a creator. But is this just a way of sidestepping the question? If God can exist without a cause, why can't the universe itself exist without one? The paradox of infinite existence: we find ourselves at a paradox. Either everything must have a cause, leading to an infinite regress of creators. Something must exist without a cause, whether that is God, the universe, or something even more fundamental. Which is the more reasonable answer? If everything needs a creator, then we can never find a first cause. But if something, whether it is God or the universe, can exist without a creator, then we must ask why that thing is the exception. This paradox has fascinated and frustrated thinkers for centuries. Philosophers, theologians, and scientists each approach it from different angles, yet no definitive answer has been found. The more we learn about time, space, and the nature of reality, the more complex the question becomes. Looking forward, in our next section, we will explore deeper questions about existence itself, Does consciousness play a role in the creation of reality? Can something come from nothing? And how do quantum mechanics challenge our understanding of cause and effect? As we continue our journey, the mysteries only deepen. The more we seek answers, the more we realize just how little we truly know. Part 3. Can something come from nothing? For centuries, the greatest minds in philosophy, science, and religion have debated one of the most profound questions of all. Can something truly come from nothing? If the universe had a beginning, did it emerge from absolute emptiness? Or was there always something, an eternal reality, beyond our comprehension? To answer this, we must first understand what we mean by nothing. The illusion of absolute nothingness. When we imagine nothing, we often think of empty space, an infinite void, cold and silent. But even empty space is something. It has dimensions. It can expand. It is filled with fluctuating energy and virtual particles. The true definition of nothing, the absolute absence of anything, may not even exist in reality. In physics, nothingness is more complicated than it seems. Quantum mechanics tells us that even in what appears to be empty space, there is still activity. The quantum vacuum is not truly empty. It is a seething sea of energy, where particles and antiparticles constantly pop in and out of existence. These are called virtual particles, and they follow the rules of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which states that at very small scales, energy and particles can momentarily appear, seemingly from nothing. This suggests that the universe may have emerged from quantum fluctuations, temporary bursts of energy that can, under the right conditions, give rise to entire realities. But if the universe came from a quantum fluctuation, then the laws of quantum mechanics must have already existed. And that raises an even deeper question: where did those laws come from? Philosophy and the principle of sufficient reason. Outside of physics, philosophers have long struggled with the concept of creation from nothing. A key idea is the principle of sufficient reason, which states that everything must have a reason or cause for its existence. If true, then the universe could not have simply popped into being without cause. Something, whether it be a divine creator, a physical law, or an eternal state of existence, must have been responsible. Yet some thinkers argue that the universe may simply be the ultimate brute fact, a reality that exists without a deeper reason. This is an unsettling idea. Our minds are wired to seek explanations, to search for a cause behind every effect. But what if, at the deepest level, there is no explanation? The role of mathematics and information. Some scientists propose that the laws of physics, rather than being created, are simply the fundamental nature of reality itself. Mathematics, for example, seems to exist independently of the physical world. The number pi would still be 3.14159. Even if no universe existed, could the universe have emerged as a result of mathematical necessity? Could reality itself be nothing more than an unfolding computation, information processing itself into existence? Theoretical physicist Max Tegmark argues that the universe is a mathematical structure, not something that was created, but something that must exist, simply because its mathematical form is self-consistent. If this is true, then perhaps the universe did not come from nothing, but rather it could never have not existed. The theological perspective, creation ex nihilo. Religious traditions offer another perspective. Many belief systems propose that the universe was created ex nihilo, out of nothing, by a divine being. In Christianity, the book of Genesis describes God creating the heavens and the earth through divine command. Let there be light. In Islam, the Quran states that God is the creator of everything. In Hinduism, Brahman is seen as the ultimate reality from which all things emerge. But this leads to another question. If God created the universe from nothing, then where did God come from? Some argue that God is the uncaused cause, the first reality that requires no explanation, an eternal, necessary being that simply is. But skeptics counter, why should God be the exception? If God can exist without a cause, why not the universe itself? The possibility of an eternal universe. One way to escape the problem of creation from nothing is to propose that the universe never truly had a beginning. Some cosmological models suggest that our universe may be just one phase in an infinite cycle of expansion and contraction. The Big Bounce theory, for example, suggests that before our Big Bang, there was a previous universe that collapsed into a singularity and then exploded outward again. This cycle could continue forever, with no true origin. Similarly, the eternal inflation model suggests that our universe is just a bubble within an ever-expanding multiverse, where new universes are constantly forming. If this is true, then our universe may not have come from nothing at all. It may have been born from the remnants of something that always existed. Final thoughts. The limits of human understanding. The question of whether something can come from nothing forces us to confront the limits of human knowledge. We have theories, models, and mathematical frameworks, yet none provide a definitive answer. Perhaps the universe emerged from a quantum fluctuation, guided by laws that exist beyond our comprehension. Perhaps it was created by an eternal intelligence beyond time and space. Or perhaps the question itself is flawed, an illusion created by our need for cause and effect. As we move forward in our journey, we will explore an even more unsettling question. If the universe was created, does that mean it was designed? Part 4. Is the universe designed? The universe is vast, complex, and seemingly ordered by precise mathematical laws. From the delicate balance of cosmic forces to the emergence of life, it raises a profound question: is the universe designed? This question has sparked debates across science, philosophy, and theology for centuries. Some argue that the universe's structure is evidence of an intelligent designer. Others contend that natural processes alone can explain its existence. To explore this, we must first examine what we mean by design. The appearance of order in nature. At first glance, the universe appears chaotic, a vast expanse of galaxies, stars, and planets drifting through space. But beneath this apparent randomness lies a deep underlying order. The laws of physics operate with incredible precision. The speed of light, the force of gravity, and the charge of an electron are all set to exact values. Even the slightest deviation in these constants could make the universe inhospitable to life. For example, if the strength of gravity were slightly weaker, galaxies and stars would never have formed. If it were stronger, everything might have collapsed into black holes. This remarkable balance has led some to propose the fine-tuning argument, the idea that the universe's physical laws are specifically calibrated to allow life to exist. But is this evidence of design, or is there another explanation? The anthropic principle, coincidence or necessity. One counter-argument to the idea of design is the anthropic principle. It states that the universe appears fine-tuned for life, simply because, if it weren't, we wouldn't be here to observe it. In other words, we live in a universe that supports life, because only in such a universe could observers like us exist. This principle raises a provocative thought. Are the conditions of the universe truly special, or do they just seem that way because we are part of the system? Some scientists take this idea further with the concept of the multiverse, the idea that our universe is just one of countless others, each with different physical laws. If an infinite number of universes exist, then it's not surprising that at least one has the right conditions for life. Our universe may not be designed at all. It could simply be one random outcome among countless possibilities. Mathematics in the language of nature. Regardless of whether the universe was designed, one undeniable fact remains. The universe follows mathematical rules with stunning precision. The orbits of planets, the spiral patterns of galaxies, the symmetry of a snowflake, all can be described through mathematics. This has led some to argue that the fabric of reality itself is mathematical.
Mathematical physicist Roger Penrose suggests that mathematical structures are not just human inventions, but fundamental elements of reality. If true, this could imply that the universe operates according to an intrinsic order, not by chance. But does this order require a designer? Or is mathematics simply an inherent property of existence? The simulation hypothesis, a designed reality. A modern interpretation of the design question is the simulation hypothesis, the idea that the universe is not a physical construct, but a computational simulation. Proposed by philosopher Nick Bostrom, this hypothesis suggests that an advanced civilization could create simulated realities, so detailed that conscious beings within them would never know they were in a simulation. If our universe is a simulation, then it was quite literally designed, but not by a divine being, rather by an advanced intelligence. Some scientists argue that certain oddities in quantum mechanics, such as the observer effect and wave function collapse, could be hints that reality behaves like a computer program. However, skeptics counter that this is speculative and unprovable. If we are in a simulation, there may be no way to access the reality outside of it. Theological arguments for design. Religious traditions have long proposed that the universe is the product of an intelligent creator. The teleological argument, also known as the argument from design, states that the complexity of the cosmos is best explained by an intelligent cause. In Christianity, the idea of divine creation is central. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In Islam, the Quran describes the universe as a sign of God's wisdom. We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. Hinduism speaks of a cosmic order, Rita, which governs the universe, maintained by the deity Vishnu. But one challenge to these arguments is the question: if the universe was designed, who designed the designer? If complexity requires an explanation, then doesn't an intelligent creator require one too? The blind watchmaker. Can complexity arise naturally? In opposition to the idea of an intelligent designer, some argue that complexity can emerge without guidance. Biologist Richard Dawkins coined the term the blind watchmaker to describe how natural processes like evolution can create complexity without conscious intent. The idea is that given enough time and the right conditions, simple structures can self-organize into complex systems. The principle of emergence in physics and biology shows that intricate patterns can arise from simple rules, like how snowflakes form, or how life evolves from basic chemistry. If natural laws are sufficient to generate complexity, then perhaps the universe does not require a designer at all. Final thoughts. The mystery of order. The question of whether the universe is designed remains one of the most profound in human thought. The fine-tuning of the cosmos, the mathematical nature of reality, and the emergence of life all hint at an underlying order. But is this order the result of a conscious designer, an intrinsic property of the universe, or a product of chance? As we continue our journey, we will explore an even deeper question. If the universe is not random, then does that mean it has a purpose?
Part 5. Does the universe have a purpose? For centuries, humanity has wrestled with one of the deepest existential questions. Does the universe have a purpose? Is there an ultimate reason for its existence, or is it merely the result of blind, indifferent forces? Some believe the cosmos was created with intent, while others argue that purpose is something we impose on an otherwise purposeless reality. To seek an answer, we must explore the perspectives of science, philosophy, and theology. The human desire for meaning. Throughout history, humans have searched for meaning in the stars, in nature, and within themselves. Ancient civilizations crafted myths to explain the cosmos, believing that gods or divine forces shaped reality with intent. Even today, we look for purpose in scientific discoveries. We ask why the universe behaves the way it does, whether life has meaning beyond survival, and if there is a greater cosmic plan. But is this search for purpose an inherent truth, or simply a byproduct of human psychology? The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared, "God is dead," arguing that humanity must create its own meaning in a world devoid of intrinsic purpose. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre took this further, stating that the universe is indifferent and meaning is something we must define for ourselves. But does that mean the universe itself lacks purpose? Or are we simply looking in the wrong places? The scientific perspective. A universe without intent. From a scientific standpoint, the universe follows natural laws, an intricate web of physical processes that govern everything from the motion of galaxies to the formation of life. But science does not inherently assign purpose to these processes. The Big Bang Theory describes how the universe expanded from an initial singularity, giving rise to space, time, and matter. But was this expansion driven by intent, or was it a random event governed by mathematical necessity? Some scientists argue that purpose is a human construct. The universe does not want anything. It simply exists, operating under the fundamental laws of physics. The evolutionary process that led to conscious beings like us is also based on natural selection, not intent. Life adapts to its environment not because it has a predetermined purpose, but because survival is a consequence of biological mechanisms. If life arose through chance and necessity rather than design, does that mean it has no deeper meaning? Or could meaning still emerge from an otherwise purposeless process? Teleology, the idea of a guided universe. In contrast, some thinkers argue that the universe exhibits teleology, the idea that events unfold toward a specific purpose or goal. One example is the apparent fine-tuning of the universe. The precise values of physical constants allow galaxies, stars, and life to exist. Some argue this is evidence of a deeper intention behind the cosmos. The physicist Paul Davies suggests that the laws of nature seem too good to be true, as if they were set up in just the right way to lead to complexity and intelligence. If the universe has a built-in directionality, does that suggest an underlying purpose? Or is it simply an illusion created by the way we interpret patterns? The role of consciousness. Does the universe need observers? One of the greatest mysteries in physics is the role of consciousness. The universe has existed for billions of years, yet only in the last fraction of time has it been observed by intelligent beings. The participatory anthropic principle, proposed by physicist John Wheeler, suggests that consciousness is not just a passive observer of the universe, but an active participant in its existence. Could the emergence of consciousness be the ultimate purpose of the cosmos? Or is intelligence just another accident of evolution? The religious perspective, a universe with divine intent. Many religious traditions propose that the universe has a clear purpose, one determined by a divine being. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism teach that creation is intentional and serves a higher goal. Hinduism describes existence as part of a vast cosmic cycle, while Buddhism suggests that enlightenment is the highest realization of purpose. These perspectives provide meaning beyond physical existence, offering a framework in which the universe is not random but filled with intentional design. But religious beliefs often rely on faith rather than empirical evidence. Can purpose be discovered scientifically, or must it be accepted on a spiritual level? The existential answer: does purpose need to be given? If the universe lacks an intrinsic purpose, does that mean our lives are meaningless, or does it mean we are free to create our own meaning? Existentialists argue that meaning is not something imposed by the universe but something we define for ourselves. If there is no cosmic plan, then our purpose is whatever we choose it to be. The philosopher Albert Camus suggested that we embrace the absurd, the conflict between our desire for meaning and the universe's silence. Rather than despair, he believed this realization could lead to true freedom. Perhaps the question itself is misguided. Maybe the universe doesn't need a purpose at all. Perhaps existence is simply enough. Final thoughts. The mystery of why the question of purpose remains one of the greatest mysteries of existence. Whether the universe was designed with intention, shaped by natural processes, or completely indifferent to our search for meaning, one thing is certain: We are here thinking, questioning, and seeking answers. As we continue our journey, we will explore an even more profound question. If the universe has no inherent purpose, what does that mean for the future of humanity? Part 6. What is the fate of the universe? As we gaze into the vast expanse of the cosmos, we are faced with a question as humbling as it is inevitable. What will become of the universe in the distant future? Will it continue expanding forever, growing colder and emptier with time? Will it one day collapse back into itself, erasing everything that ever was? Or is there a possibility that the universe is part of an eternal cycle, destined to be reborn again and again? To understand the fate of the universe, we must explore the forces that shape its evolution and the theories that attempt to predict its ultimate destiny. The expansion of the universe. For much of human history, the universe was thought to be static and unchanging. But in the 20th century, astronomer Edwin Hubble made a groundbreaking discovery: the universe is expanding. By observing distant galaxies, Hubble found that they were moving away from us, and the farther they were, the faster they receded. This led to the realization that space itself is stretching, carrying galaxies apart like dots on the surface of an inflating balloon. But this expansion raises a crucial question: will it continue forever, or will it one day reverse? The answer depends on three key factors: the density of matter in the universe, the role of dark energy, and the fundamental nature of space-time itself. The role of dark energy: an accelerating cosmos. For decades, scientists assumed that gravity, the force pulling everything together, would eventually slow the universe's expansion. But in the late 1990s, a shocking discovery changed everything. Observations of distant supernovae revealed that not only is the universe expanding, but the rate of expansion is accelerating. Something unknown, something scientists call dark energy, is pushing space outward at an ever-increasing pace. Dark energy is one of the greatest mysteries in physics. It makes up nearly 70% of the universe, yet we do not know what it is. Some theories suggest it is a property of space itself, an inherent energy woven into the fabric of reality. Others propose that it could be a new, undiscovered force of nature. If dark energy continues to dominate, the universe may never stop expanding. Instead, it could drift toward an inevitable end known as the Big Freeze. The Big Freeze, a cold and empty universe. In the Big Freeze scenario, dark energy keeps accelerating the expansion of space, pulling galaxies farther apart until they become isolated islands in an endless void. Over trillions of years, stars will exhaust their nuclear fuel and fade into cold, lifeless remnants. New stars will no longer form as raw material, for their birth becomes scarce. Eventually, even black holes will evaporate through a slow process known as Hawking radiation, leaving nothing but subatomic particles drifting in an ever-expanding dark cosmos. This is the ultimate heat death of the universe, a state of maximum entropy, where no structure, no energy, and no life can persist. But is this truly the final fate, or could the universe meet a different end? The Big Crunch, a universe that collapses. If the density of matter in the universe is high enough, gravity may eventually overpower dark energy, reversing the expansion and pulling everything back together in an event known as the Big Crunch. Galaxies would stop drifting apart and begin moving toward one another. The night sky, once filled with distant stars, would grow brighter as everything converges. Over time, temperatures would soar as matter compresses, and eventually, the entire universe could collapse into a singularity, a point of infinite density, perhaps similar to what existed before the Big Bang. Could this lead to a new universe? Could the Big Crunch be followed by another Big Bang in an eternal cycle of birth, destruction, and rebirth? The Big Bounce, an endless cycle. Some theories propose that the universe is part of an infinite cycle. Instead of ending in a final collapse or an eternal freeze, the cosmos may continuously expand and contract in a never-ending sequence known as the Big Bounce. If true, our universe is just one of countless previous universes that have come and gone before, each new iteration shaped by different physical conditions. But for this theory to hold,
we must explain how a new universe could emerge from the ashes of the old. Some suggest that quantum effects or unknown forces could trigger a new expansion, resetting the cosmic cycle once again. If the universe is eternal, then its fate may not be an end at all, but rather a transition into something new. The multiverse, are we just one of many? An even more radical idea suggests that our universe is just one among an infinite number of parallel universes in a vast multiverse. If this is true, then even if our universe fades, collapses, or transforms, others could continue to exist, governed by different laws of physics. Some versions of this idea propose that new universes are constantly being born, with our cosmos just one tiny part of an unimaginably vast reality. But if the multiverse exists, is there a way to prove it, or will it forever remain a theoretical mystery beyond human understanding? Final thoughts. What lies ahead? The fate of the universe is one of the most profound questions in science. Whether it ends in eternal expansion, fiery collapse, or cosmic rebirth, one thing is certain. We exist in a moment of time, a brief flicker in an unfolding story that stretches beyond imagination. As we continue to explore the cosmos, we may one day unlock the secrets of dark energy, space-time, and the ultimate destiny of reality itself. But as we ponder the fate of the universe, another question arises, one even closer to home. What is the future of humanity? Will we find a way to survive the cosmic endgame, or are we destined to fade away with the stars? This is the mystery we will explore next. Part 7. The future of humanity in the cosmos. The universe has existed for nearly 14 billion years, and Earth has been habitable for a fraction of that time. Yet, in this brief cosmic moment, humanity has risen, evolved, and built civilizations. But what comes next? Will we survive into the distant future, expanding beyond Earth and reaching for the stars? Or are we doomed to fade away, just another species lost to time? The fate of humanity is uncertain, but by examining our greatest challenges and possibilities, we can glimpse what may lie ahead. The threats to human survival. For humanity to have a future, we must first overcome the existential risks that could end our civilization, or even our species. Some of these threats come from nature itself. An asteroid impact, like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, could strike Earth again. A supervolcanic eruption could darken the skies, plunging the planet into an ice age. A nearby supernova could bathe our world in deadly radiation. But perhaps the greatest dangers are the ones we create. Nuclear war remains a looming threat, capable of reducing civilization to ruins in mere hours. Pandemics, whether natural or engineered, could spread uncontrollably. Advances in artificial intelligence might surpass human control, leading to unforeseen consequences. And as we continue to alter the climate, we risk making our own planet uninhabitable. If we are to survive the coming centuries, we must find ways to mitigate these risks. But mere survival is not enough. To ensure the future of our species, we must look beyond Earth. Becoming an interplanetary species right now, humanity is a single-planet civilization. Everything we depend on, our food, our technology, our very existence is tied to Earth. But no world lasts forever. To secure our long-term survival, we must become an interplanetary species. The first step is Mars. Efforts by space agencies and private companies aim to establish a permanent human presence on the red planet. Mars is harsh, its atmosphere is thin, its surface is bombarded by radiation, and its temperatures are freezing. Yet, it is the most viable place for a second home. A successful colony on Mars would be a turning point for our species. It would prove that we can live beyond Earth and provide a backup in case disaster strikes our home world. But Mars is only the beginning. Beyond Mars, colonizing the solar system. If humanity thrives on Mars, we could expand to the rest of the solar system. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn, Europa, Titan, and Enceladus hold vast reserves of water, potentially supporting future settlements. Giant space stations could be built in orbit around planets, housing millions of people. With enough technology, we might even terraform planets, transforming dead worlds into Earth-like environments. But even the solar system is small compared to the greater cosmos. Interstellar travel, reaching the stars. If humanity is to endure for millions or even billions of years, we must reach beyond our solar system. But traveling to other stars is no small feat. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is over 4 light-years away. With current technology, it would take tens of thousands of years to get there. Yet, ideas for interstellar travel exist. One possibility is the light sail, a spacecraft powered by laser beams from Earth, accelerating it to a significant fraction of the speed of light. Another is nuclear propulsion, using atomic reactions to push ships through space. A more speculative idea is the warp drive, a theoretical method of bending space-time, allowing faster-than-light travel. While still in the realm of science fiction, some physicists believe it could one day be possible. But even if we reach other stars, we must confront an even greater question: the Fermi paradox. Where are the aliens? If the universe is so vast, containing trillions of galaxies and countless habitable worlds, why have we found no sign of intelligent life? This mystery is known as the Fermi paradox. One possibility is that intelligent civilizations destroy themselves before they can spread across the stars. If this is true, then humanity must be extremely careful, not just in surviving natural disasters, but in ensuring that our own technology does not lead to extinction. Another possibility is that advanced civilizations exist, but avoid contact, or their methods of communication are beyond our understanding. If we are alone, then the responsibility of carrying intelligence into the future falls entirely on us. The evolution of humanity, beyond our biological form. If humanity survives long enough, we may no longer resemble the species we are today. Technology could allow us to merge with machines, enhancing our intelligence, extending our lifespans, and even uploading our consciousness into digital form. We may engineer our own evolution, adapting ourselves to live in environments beyond Earth. Over millions of years, we could become unrecognizable, turning into a post-human species capable of shaping reality itself. But even then, the universe will continue its journey toward its ultimate fate. Lastly, the legacy of our species. The future of humanity is uncertain. We may thrive for millions of years, or we may perish within a few centuries. Yet, we are the first known species capable of understanding the universe and contemplating its fate. If we choose wisely, we may become the architects of our own destiny, shaping the cosmos instead of being shaped by it. But as we look ahead, one final question remains. If humanity is to have a future, does that future hold a purpose? This is what we will explore next. Part 8. Does the universe have a purpose? For centuries, humanity has gazed at the night sky, searching for meaning in the vastness of the cosmos. We have asked ourselves, does the universe have a purpose? Is there an inherent reason for its existence, or is it simply a random event, devoid of meaning, indifferent to our presence? To answer this, we must explore the realms of science, philosophy, and theology, each offering a different perspective on this profound question. The scientific view, a universe without intent. From a purely scientific standpoint, the universe operates by natural laws, without apparent intention or design. The Big Bang occurred 13.8 billion years ago, giving rise to matter, energy, and the physical forces that shape reality. Galaxies formed, stars ignited, and planets emerged, all governed by the principles of physics. Yet, as far as we can tell, the universe does not appear to be working toward a goal. It expands endlessly, and its fate is determined by forces beyond our control. In this view, purpose is not an inherent property of the cosmos. Instead, life, including intelligent beings like us, arises due to the laws of nature and the randomness of evolution. We are the product of chance and necessity, existing simply because the conditions allowed it. But does that mean the universe is meaningless, or could meaning emerge from within? The emergent purpose, meaning from consciousness, while the universe itself may not have an inherent goal, some argue that consciousness creates its own purpose. We are not just passive observers of the cosmos, we are thinking beings capable of understanding, creating and shaping reality. The emergence of intelligence could be the universe's way of waking up, transforming from a collection of mindless particles into something that can experience itself. From this perspective, our ability to ask questions, explore, and seek meaning is the purpose. Perhaps the universe does not dictate meaning from above, but instead, meaning arises through us. If this is true, then humanity plays a crucial role in defining the purpose of existence. But does this idea stand against religious and philosophical interpretations of purpose? The theological perspective, a created universe. Most religious traditions propose that the universe has a purpose because it was created by a higher power. In Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, the universe is seen as the intentional work of a divine being, God, who created existence for a reason, whether to express divine will, foster morality, or grant humans the opportunity for spiritual growth. Hinduism and Buddhism also explore the idea that the universe is part of a greater cosmic cycle, where consciousness and reality are linked to an eternal truth. In these worldviews, purpose is not something we must invent, it is something we must discover. Yet, one challenge remains. If the universe was created with a purpose, why does it seem so vast, empty and indifferent to human life? Some argue that our purpose may not be centered on the physical universe, but rather on something beyond it, something spiritual, transcendent or unknowable. But others take a different approach. Instead of assuming the universe has a single purpose, what if it contains many possible purposes, each shaped by the beings that inhabit it? The simulation hypothesis, purpose as a programmed reality. One radical idea suggests that the universe is not a random accident, nor the creation of a deity, but rather a simulation designed by an advanced intelligence. If this were true, then the universe's purpose might be similar to that of a computer program, a controlled experiment, a game, or even a test. Could we be living in a digital reality, where the fundamental laws of physics are lines of code written by an unknown creator? If so, what is the purpose of the simulation? Are we here to prove something, to entertain a higher being, or simply to exist as part of a vast computational structure? While this idea remains speculative, it forces us to reconsider the nature of reality, and whether our purpose is assigned to us or discovered by us. The universe's fate. Does purpose persist? Even if the universe has a purpose now, will that purpose still exist in the distant future? Current cosmological models suggest that the universe is headed toward one of three possible fates. The Big Crunch. The universe collapses back in on itself, potentially leading to another Big Bang. The Big Freeze. The universe expands forever, eventually becoming cold and lifeless as stars burn out. The Big Rip. Dark energy accelerates expansion so much that space itself is torn apart. If the universe is temporary, does that mean its purpose is also temporary? Or could the purpose of the universe be something beyond its physical existence, something that transcends time, matter, and energy? Final thoughts. The question without an answer. So, does the universe have a purpose? The truth is we don't know. Science tells us that the universe obeys physical laws, but it does not seem to have a goal. Philosophy suggests that purpose can emerge from consciousness, that intelligent beings like us create meaning in an otherwise indifferent cosmos. Religion argues that purpose is woven into the fabric of existence, designed by a higher power. Each perspective offers a different answer, but none can be proven beyond doubt. Perhaps the real question is not whether the universe has a purpose, but whether we choose to give it one. If meaning is something we create, then our responsibility is clear: to explore, to understand and to shape our own destiny. As we move forward, we must ask ourselves, if we have the power to define our own purpose, what will we choose? Part 9. The End of the Universe. How will it all end? For all of human history, we have looked up at the stars and wondered where we came from. But just as important is the question, where are we going? Will the universe last forever, or is it destined to meet an inevitable end? Modern cosmology has given us incredible insights into the ultimate fate of the universe, and while we do not yet have a definitive answer, we do have several compelling possibilities. Let's explore the most likely scenarios for how the universe might end, and what it means for us. The expanding universe, a path to destruction. To understand how the universe might end, we must first look at how it is changing right now. We know that space itself is expanding, not just the galaxies moving through space, but space itself stretching over time. This discovery was first made in the 1920s by Edwin Hubble, who observed that distant galaxies are moving away from us in all directions. This led to the realization that the universe had a beginning, the Big Bang, and has been expanding ever since. But a shocking discovery in 1998 changed everything. Scientists found that not only is the universe expanding, it is accelerating. This means something strange is happening. Some unseen force, now called dark energy, is driving space to expand faster and faster. What does this mean for the end of the universe? The answer depends on the battle between dark energy and gravity. Scenario 1. The Big Freeze heat death. If dark energy continues to accelerate the expansion of the universe, it will eventually reach a state called heat death, also known as the Big Freeze. In this scenario, galaxies will drift farther and farther apart. Over trillions of years, stars will run out of fuel and fade away, leaving behind only cold dead remnants. Even black holes, the last survivors of the cosmos, will slowly evaporate through Hawking radiation, a process that takes an unimaginable amount of time. Eventually, all that remains will be a vast, empty universe, a cold and dark void, where even atoms decay, and nothing new can ever form. This is the most widely accepted fate of the universe. But what if the expansion of space doesn't just continue? What if it accelerates out of control? Scenario 2. The Big Rip. Some scientists believe that dark energy isn't just causing expansion, it's getting stronger over time. If this is true, then one day, the expansion will reach a breaking point. First, galaxies will be torn apart from each other. Then solar systems will unravel as planets drift away from their stars. Eventually, even atoms themselves will be ripped apart by the relentless force of space expanding. This catastrophic event, known as the Big Rip, would occur in a distant future, possibly tens of billions of years from now. It would be the most violent possible end. The universe wouldn't just fade away, it would be torn apart at the deepest level of reality. But could the universe end not with expansion, but with collapse? Scenario 3. The Big Crunch. For many years, scientists considered the possibility that gravity might slow down expansion and eventually cause the universe to contract instead. If this happened, galaxies would begin to move back toward each other. Over time, everything would collapse inward, until all matter and energy were crushed into an infinitely dense point, similar to how the universe began. This scenario, called the Big Crunch, suggests that the universe could be cyclic, expanding, collapsing, and possibly being reborn in an endless loop of Big Bangs. While current evidence favors an accelerating universe, leading to the Big Freeze, some researchers still consider this cyclic model a possibility. But what if the universe isn't just expanding or collapsing? What if it's branching into something entirely new? Scenario 4. The Big Bounce. One of the most intriguing possibilities is the idea that the universe never truly ends but instead recycles itself. In this model, after a long period of expansion, the universe might reach a state where quantum fluctuations trigger a sudden collapse, or even a new Big Bang. This would mean that our universe is just one phase in an infinite cycle, where each universe dies only to give birth to another. Some physicists suggest that instead of collapsing entirely, parts of the universe could fragment off into new universes, creating a vast cosmic multiverse where existence is eternal. This idea, while speculative, raises an even deeper question. If new universes can keep forming, then perhaps existence itself is never-ending. What does the end of the universe mean for us? Regardless of which scenario is correct, the ultimate fate of the universe forces us to consider something profound. Everything we know is temporary. Even if life survives for billions or trillions of years, it cannot escape the fate of the cosmos. Does this make our existence meaningless, or does it make our fleeting moment even more precious? Perhaps the impermanence of the universe is a reminder that meaning is not something that lasts forever. It's something we create while we can. The universe may have an ending, but while we are here, while the stars still shine, and while our minds are capable of wonder, we have the power to explore, to learn, and to appreciate the mystery of existence. As we approach the final chapter in this journey, we must ask, if the universe is destined to end, what happens after?
Part 10. What comes after the universe? For all of human history, we have asked the biggest questions. Where did the universe come from? What is our place in it? And how will it all end? But there is one final question, perhaps the most difficult of all. What happens after the universe ends? If the universe fades into darkness, is that truly the end of everything? Or is there something beyond, something we cannot yet comprehend? As we reach the conclusion of this journey, let's explore the most astonishing possibilities for what might come after the universe itself is gone. A universe reborn, the cyclic model. One of the oldest ideas in cosmology is that the universe never truly ends. It is reborn in an endless cycle. This is the foundation of the Big Bounce theory, which suggests that the universe may go through infinite cycles of expansion and collapse. In this model, after our universe experiences heat death, a new Big Bang could emerge from the remains of the old. Instead of a final ending, reality could be an eternal loop where universes live, die, and are reborn forever. Each cycle could bring new laws of physics, new galaxies, and perhaps even new forms of life. If this is true, then the death of our universe is not the end. It is simply the beginning of something new. But what if our universe is just one of many? 2. The multiverse. A new reality beyond ours. Some scientists believe that our universe is not the only one. There may be an infinite number of universes. This idea, known as the multiverse theory, suggests that what we see as the universe is just a small part of a much larger cosmic structure. When our universe fades away, new universes may continue to form elsewhere. The birth of a new universe may not be an isolated event. It could be happening all the time, in ways we cannot yet detect. If this is true, then the end of our universe is just a local event. Reality itself never ends. But what if instead of new universes, something else arises from the ashes of the old? 3. A universe of pure information. Some physicists suggest that the true nature of reality is not matter or energy, but information itself. In this view, the universe is like a vast computational system, running a complex set of mathematical rules. If the physical universe ends, does the information that defines it also disappear, or does it persist in another form? Some theories propose that the universe could evolve into a state where physical structures vanish, but the fundamental information remains. Reality transitions into something we can't yet describe, perhaps a pure abstract realm of information or consciousness. This raises an unsettling possibility. If the universe is just a vast computation, who or what is running the program? 4. A higher dimension beyond time. Another possibility is that the universe is not an isolated thing. It is part of a larger, higher dimensional reality. Just as a two-dimensional being could never perceive our three-dimensional world, we may be trapped in a lower dimensional view of existence. What we call the end of the universe may simply be a transition into a new state of existence. Time itself may not be fundamental. Instead, the universe might be embedded in a timeless structure beyond our perception. If this is true, then the end of the universe is not really an end at all. It is merely a shift in how we experience reality. But could there be something even greater beyond the universe? 5. A return to the source. The religious perspective. Many religious traditions suggest that the universe is not the final reality. It is just a temporary expression of something far greater. Some beliefs hold that when the universe ends, it will be reabsorbed into a divine source, a higher plane of existence. Others propose that our consciousness might continue in a form beyond time and space. If the universe was created with purpose, then perhaps its end is not destruction, but a return to its original source. But if the universe simply fades away, with nothing beyond it, we are left with one final profound mystery. Why did it exist at all? The final question, why is there something rather than nothing? In the end, every theory about the future of the universe brings us back to the ultimate question, why is there anything at all? If the universe eventually ceases to exist, does that mean it was just a temporary accident? Or is there something fundamental, something eternal, that will always remain? Science may never answer this question completely. But what we do know is this: we are here, now in this brief moment where the universe is alive, and that perhaps is the greatest mystery of all. Conclusion: our place in the infinite unknown. The universe may one day end, or it may transform into something unimaginable. We do not know if reality is infinite, or if we are simply a fleeting spark in an endless void. But while we are here, we have the power to ask, to explore, and to wonder. Perhaps in the vast mystery of existence, that is what truly matters. And so, as we close this journey, we are left with one final thought. The universe may end, but the search for understanding will never stop. This is the last part of the video. I greatly appreciate you viewers sticking to the end of the video. If you are able to support me, please share this video that is interested about space and theories such as this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned.